Okay, so this is the detail work. I have to take files and rasps and do some hand sanding and then go back and maybe touch it up with a power tool. But this is the best way actually to get it smooth, at least when the surface is concave like this, is to use these files because I can smooth the surface without tearing the grain. So probably can't see this kind of detail without the magnifying glasses on, but I can see them with the magnifying glasses. As long as I see any flaws with my magnifiers, I have to fix it. So it takes a bit of time. It makes a good sculpture turn into just an outstanding sculpture, so it's worth the extra bit of time to do the detail work. Okay, so this is just a microfile. It's got a convex side and a flat side, and so I can get in there and take off the high spots essentially. There's a lot of dimpling from using the power carving and the power sanding, so I'm just trying to even out the surface a little bit so that it doesn't catch as much shadow light. So I can get in here on the vein line and just put the edge of that in there, smooth that out a little bit, and you just have to be careful about putting counter pressure on so that I don't break off any edges. And I have to watch out for all the little fragile points that I could accidentally break off by maneuvering this around. So it's just a little dance I play with the hand tools. So I'll take this and wipe it off, and then I'll just get a little piece of sandpaper and just kind of smooth it, getting those little tool marks out. Don't want to put a lot of pressure on the sandpaper because you'll put scratches there and that you'll have to work out. So it's just a matter of cleaning up frayed edges. Gives me a chance to see what the surface looks like. And then I can see where the light gives me a shadow cast off of any edges. I have to go and work on that area just a little bit at a time. You don't want to overdo it because you don't want to change the shape of the contours. You just want to clean them up. On the edges I have little fuzzies, and so I just go in and knock the edges off with the hand sanding. I probably have to do that several times before I put the finish on, and then after the finish goes on I have to do it one more time before I take a photograph. So it's just a lot of detail work. I've actually made a lot of progress on this. It takes not too much time to get around the whole piece, but then I go around it again and again until I stop finding little problems to fix. So right here I've got a little dark spot from the power tool, so I'm just going to go in with the diamond rasp and just kind of clean that up a little bit, work the shadow out of that little burn mark from the burr. And it might take a little bit of scraping, but that's just going to take a little bit of effort to work out with a variety of tools, because it's just not going to come out with one tool. It has to be worked out a little bit at a time. And then I can approach it from both edges. Just pull it out. I have these little finger protectors on because the sandpaper, if you sand by hand for hours at a time, you're just going to abrade your skin away. So I just give myself one layer of latex in between me and the sandpaper, and it saves my skin. And I still have the tactile sense through the thin layer of latex. I like that better than some of the self-stick tape that people use. I just don't have the same tactile sense with that. Steve's telling me my finger gloves are something that reminds him of visiting the doctor.
I wasn't going to say anything about that during the recording.
He says if I tell him to bend over and cough, he was going to stop helping me with the camera work.
I didn't say anything about that. I just wanted to know if you've been visiting your proctologist.
Yeah, I guess they do look kind of like finger condoms. In fact, I just broke one, so I've got to stop here.
Fortunately, that's not in focus.
Okay, where was I? So I'm going to do this where it's not too thin on the wood, because I've got some areas that are so paper thin, and I just can't put this kind of counter pressure. I can only just use a little bit of sandpaper. I can't put any leveraging on it. But this particular part of the sculpture is fairly thick. Okay, so let's see if we're sanding. And I can see where I've got any sanding scratches that need to come out. So any flaw that I see at this stage of the game, if I don't take care of it, when I put the oil on it, it will just kind of amplify it. And when I get a detail photo with a macro lens, it'll just be a glaring mistake. So that's why I'm very picky at this stage to make sure that the details are just right. Just end up spending a lot of time. So that amount of time I was able to just do these 3 little sections here. So now I got to turn this over and work on this side.